All right, Floyd Schofield Jr., Floyd Sr. joining me for this conversation. It's been a ride over the last couple of months for you, Floyd. Scheduled to face Shakur Stevenson back in February, had a medical issue, had to withdraw from that fight. I guess we start with kind of how you're feeling physically, where you're at. How do you feel now?
I feel good. I'm back 100%. I believe. And after that, I just had to push. Make sure my body was 100%. Before doing any sparring and stuff. So after this camp, I feel great. I feel great. I know I'm ready to fight.
What do you think of what you've seen from your son during this camp?
He look amazing. He ready.
So I'll preface this question by saying I know you guys there's some legal reasons, things you can't explain about what happened in Saudi Arabia. From what you can explain, I'll put it to you first, Floyd, and see if you can weigh in. What happened during that week? How did you feel physically? Why did you ultimately not fight? Just walk us through kind of the days before you were forced to pull out.
So the days before, I was feeling great. I was 3 pounds away from my fight weight, and that was just me walking around doing interviews. Did I meet with you guys before?
We never got to that point.
Okay,
yet.
But I remember just doing that whole media day thing, and I believe it was the very next day. It happened, and like we said, I can't talk about it and other stuff. But the British Boxing Commission, they made the ruling, saying I wasn't fit to fight. And mind you, I'm sick or whatever was going on, and I'm telling my dad I want to fight. And I think there was a point to where the doctor and my dad, they had to hold me down because I'm trying to get up and shadow box and show the doctor I could still fight. But they ultimately didn't let me fight. And once I actually came to, and the next day, that was probably like one of the...
I don't know why he trying to describe it to y'all like he could remember.
I can't remember. Everything was like blacked out.
What happened is I was at the gym. Really, we're not even supposed to talk about it legally, really, because it's a lot, but he was poisoned. It just flat out is what it is. They tried to say it was some mushrooms that was put in his room service thing, but the toxicology report says differently. But we just moved on to the next fight. He was poisoned in that fight, but even before then, just a lot was going on in camp. Like cops being called, saying we harboring kids, drugs being planted in cars, like it was real. Real faxes out there with the Fort Lauderdale police, the hospital there, to the point where it made me have to go to the hospital for anxiety as a parent, pardon me. And I'm freezing over here, so if they see me shaking, it ain't emotions, but as a parent to go through that. It's just crazy just because you wanted to box, just because you was in shape. So it's a lot of lawyers involved. People ran in, no, trying to take defense for what they did, because a mole was in the camp that told, as it was happening, that warned me they spiked your son. And I found my son, and the British board is who took his license. We didn't pull out of the fight. They said we couldn't fight because he was administered in the hospital for 2 days. So they brought him to ICU, and then he stayed there at night, then they moved him upstairs. So that's what happened.
Couple follow-ups. I had not heard the stuff about Fort Lauderdale before. Maybe you talked about that a little bit, I'm not sure. But what happened in camp? What were the issues there?
There was just some people that we brought in that we shouldn't have brought in. I'm not gonna say.
No, you can't say that because people got lawyers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say
it ain't worth that. What happened is our passports got stolen. That's the first thing. Our passports got stolen. He was supposed to show up for the first thing in London. When he got to the airport, they ripped out his pages, so he couldn't fly there. So we had to rush and get passports. We got passports. Then cops get called to our house, say we harboring kids. So 2 o'clock in the morning, we have guns to our head. And they investigate, they find out it's a prank. They even track the number to what state it came from. Next thing, a few weeks later, drugs get planted in the car. And a report come out that I tried to run them over. But the funny thing is the car hadn't been driven in damn near a day. And when the cops came and the detective, they knew this car hadn't been driven at all for a report to be made 20 minutes ago. They checked the car, find drugs planted in it. So these are the things we faced in that camp. But we're here now for this fight.
Obviously, you believe someone was trying to mess with you
Oh yeah, we know for sure.
It's
We know.
documented. It's
we
documented
know.
that people was messing with us.
Do you know who was trying to mess with you?
We can't. People got lawyers.
Yeah, we
But-
got threatened
but-
with
But, I'll
but
ask you that,
detectives
do you know
know
who?
from
Do you
the
feel like you
mold.
know who?
Detectives
Yeah.
know from the person, the witness,
Yeah.
of who and how and everything. But we not pushing to seek nothing from nobody. We just moving on with our life. But the truth is told. If the truth is the truth, it is what it is.
And I think that was another part that, messed me up after Saudi, because after going through all of that and still making it to Saudi, still thinking I was gonna accomplish my dream, for it just not to happen, and it felt just like the biggest waste of time. Yeah, it was crazy.
Something you just said there about what happened in Saudi. You said that he was poisoned. Why are you so sure that he was poisoned?
Because toxicology reports, they say that it was mushrooms he was allergic to. That's what the Saudis say.
Can you tell us what the toxicology report said?
Not right now because of the legal things.
Can you, like, one thing I would say respectfully, that what it's hard for people to understand or believe the poison part of it until they know what the poison was, what that toxicology stuff is. Like, can you understand that people are
This ain't
skeptical?
for what the people believe. I don't care what the people believe. I said the truth from day one. When they poisoned my son as a parent, the people told me, you bugging. So I don't care what the people believe, because I was by myself in Saudi. I had to get my son out of there by myself. So I don't care what people believe, because my son could have died. No people was there when I was in the hospital room crying. Where was those people? So I don't care about people no more. When you try to live for people, that's when you ruin your life. Just live for yourself. We live in our dream. Tevin Farmer's the next step up. We loving it. We put behind us what happened in Saudi. The Saudi people are good, and they don't want that to reflect on their country on that one incident. So that's why they want us to leave that topic alone also.
I asked you if you knew who messed with you in Florida. Do you have a theory on who messed with you in Saudi Arabia?
Anybody could have a theory,
Yeah.
but we know that the people that done it knew they were scared. And for some reason they were scared. They didn't want something to go down.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy, so like, why,
So
why
it is
get
what
me?
it is. I mean, it ain't somebody would have had to have power to pull that. They would have had to have real power to do that in that country. So that's why we leave the topic alone, because they got power. They showed us they could touch us just like that. So why we want to battle with folk like that?
Let me ask you a different way then. The question would be why, right? Like, that was a big fight. One of the biggest
For
fights.
who?
For that, a big fight for everyone. That was, Floyd versus Shakur. That was an anticipated event, I guess, because you fought your way into the fight with your ranking, but also talked your way into the fight by saying that you've been calling Shakur's name out from the very beginning. The question I think I have is, why would anyone want to mess with that?
One correction, we never called Shakur out. He started with us.
Well, he did a lot of
Right,
Shakur.
he said he said if
Oh, no, he
Zepeda,
called me out
he said if
first.
He did, but
Zepeda
then it
ducked-
was
he
a
said
lot
if
of
Zepeda
people.
ducked, then
Yeah.
I'm fighting Kid Austin. All we said is be a man of your word. You said if Zepeda duck, you fight us. That's what we said to him. He been out there doing that, but Shakur can't beat us. I don't care what people, we sparred Shakur. I seen him as a kid while Shakur was champion. Shakur in 4 rounds, landed 4 punches, and Shakur only bragging, I landed a body shot on him. Yeah, y'all went 2 more rounds, and then he went 6 with your man. So Shakur know he can't beat Kid.
At 17.
He got,
15.
all them champions that's running, they all knew because he got them ready for fights. I said 2 years ago, Tank is gonna retire when Kid get in position. Tank is retiring. I said Devin Haney gonna run. He ran up 2 divisions. Everybody he got in that ring and experience with him, they taking the hell off. They retiring. Shakur doing whatever he gotta do, but then he going. Keyshawn hauled ass to 140 and said he wanted us next, and he hauled ass to 140. Everybody that been in the gym watching him beat these champions up, they know a storm is coming. And none of these champions said he's not the greatest of all time. When I said not one of them. Not one of them say they got the best of him. Not one of them. So why would anybody want to get in the ring?
I think it does beg the fight was signed, sealed, delivered. You were there in Saudi Arabia. Why do you think someone would do anything to try to
To
derail
attempt to
that fight?
assassinate you? You never know why somebody would try to kill you.
People crazy these days.
You never know why somebody would try to kill you.
And that's
You didn't
just-
start with nobody.
And that just goes to show, like, to
But
people.
let me tell you, boxing is a dirty business. Boxing is made on more than just ticket sales. So some powerful people didn't want to ruin ticket sales, ruin them back-end money.
Or some bets.
So it's deeper than, for somebody to pull that off, it's very powerful people. So if we don't know why they did that, so we staying out their way, we minding our business, we doing our job.
You were going to say something there.
I ain't gonna lie, Chris, I forgot. What I was gonna say.
It was more about the why of all of it.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, people, they get the thing that, people, we ducked and all this other stuff, and I just find it ridiculous, That, like, if you're gonna duck, that's the most craziest way you could have ever ducked somebody, so, I'm just glad to be here now, find a guy like Tevin Farmer, cool people, they're cool people, I like them, but Saturday, like I said, it's blood, so just happy to be here now.
One more question about what happened over there. I mean, when it first happened, one of the first thoughts I had was, all right, look, it's a tough travel to Saudi Arabia. It's a big adjustment. The food's different. You were doing a weight cut over in Saudi Arabia. Why was it the feeling you got, the illness, what you were feeling? Was it different than anything you've ever felt?
He didn't get no illness.
I didn't get no
I'm trying
illness.
to phrase the right word. The sickness.
I don't think he could say it.
He straight up poisoned.
How you felt though? What did it feel like?
So when I first told my dad, I was going downstairs because, like I said, I was only 3 pounds away from my weight. Mm-hmm. So I was only going downstairs to shadow box with my coach, Joan Guzman, my cut man, and my dad. And so I'm moving, shadow boxing, and I tell my dad, I look over and I'm like, yo, it feels like I'm floating. And he's like, what do you mean? And I told him, like, it feels like that when I'm walking, it feels like I'm gliding across the floor. And he's like, Floyd, like, what are you talking about? Like, stop playing. So I tell him, like, I can't, like, work out right now. I'll just work out tomorrow or later on. So he's like, all right, cool, we'll take you upstairs. So they take me upstairs, and my cut man and Joan Guzman, they stay in the room. And my dad goes back downstairs to do a workout. Then he gets this, I can't say, this crazy text message. And then he comes running upstairs, and next thing you know, I'm tripping out. Actually, I think he's trying to show you. You got the video of me tripping out.
I'm trying to go through all the things, show you the text message that came from the mole. Take it serious. They just spiked your son.
Like, I got the video
and things that I ran up. I mean, these are real messages, the threats, the everything. This ain't no.
Yeah, I got the actual video of me tripping out in front of the commission. So people, they like to say, oh, they ducking, but we have the proof. We just haven't been able to show it yet. So.
And right, I'm just going to show you.
Well,
I'm going to show you one thing.
You know, Senior and Junior. You know what. You obviously know what the toxicology said.
Yeah.
You know what the toxicology said. Do you believe that the public at large will eventually know what it said?
I mean, all it takes is for the right person to find the right information.
It doesn't matter. We want revenge a different way.
Like
Forget what that say. We want to fight Shakur Stevenson. We want that fight to go through.
I still got to fulfill that promise I gave to my son.
We want him to get past the pay, we get past this, and we want to fight Shakur. We didn't duck. We was in line for it. We was in the hospital. Let's just do it right. That's what we saying, and we'll get our pay back in that ring. That's how we get our pay back as men, where we from. All that other stuff they did, fine. Let us get in the ring.
Was that a shot at Bill?
Nah, it's just like, I'm not sure it's nothing to Bill Haney. Nah, let's get in the ring.
When you came back from Saudi, you mentioned this briefly, how tough it was to come back and bounce back. Tell me about the days and weeks after you got back from Saudi Arabia.
So I get back from Saudi, I think the day of the fight that Shakur's about to fight, or the day before, I can't remember, but I was able to watch the fight from home. So I watched the fight. My son, he's on a plane back to come home. So, oh yeah.
And it got the date, the time. That's the first message. I'll show you all of them. It's like 10 of them. But some of them you can't say. That's the first message.
Okay.
And that's when I run upstairs and find him, like, because otherwise I thought he was just sleepy going to bed. And I called the doctor, and the British Board of Commission doctor come up there. They said, we got to rush him to the hospital. We don't even wait for an ambulance. We throw him in the SUV.
Yeah, they just
just so people watching, what you showed me was someone.
You could tell them what
someone
that said.
saying that your son was poisoned.
Yes.
In Saudi Arabia.
So
I was asking you about the coming back. Just to finish what you were saying there about kind of what you were going through on the way back.
Oh, just when I got back, I watched the fight, and I wasn't impressed with his performance. That's just my opinion. People may differ. And it just made me like super angry, super upset, super mad. I was watching on my phone. I was literally gonna break my phone because I was just so mad. My son is on the plane home, and I do not have this green belt here with me, and it just made me so upset. I think like that night, you know, when my son got home, I just was in the bathroom for like an hour and a half just crying because I was like my opportunity was ruined. And it took me like a good 2-3 weeks, you know, to bounce back. But, you know, during that moment, it was like just showing like how my chances could get ruined like that. I wanted to quit boxing. I didn't tell you, but I wanted to quit boxing. I wanted to, just a lot of other stuff because I was like, it's so dirty. Like, I'm a good guy. I feel like people think I'm a good guy. So I feel like I didn't deserve that. You know, I was just going there for one reason and one reason only, and that was to become a champion.
What did you see from him during those dark few weeks after?
I was going through my own shit. I'm in therapy every week. For real, as a parent, what you mean what he going through? Oh my God, but as a parent had to go through. From the guns that you had from the SWAT team to being put in the car with your drawers on while they check drugs. I mean, and all you just in camp training your son for a fight. To like, you know, so it's a lot on the person, but I can't say as a black man, but as a brother, you gotta go through these obstacles to break generational curses. That's the obstacle God put there. So we on our journey and we enjoying it. And that taught me about the dirty side of boxing. I mean, it's real. We didn't know that side. It's real. It's not just inside of the ring. I see why Mayweather always walked around with bodyguards and why he got an entourage always watching his back. It's a reason. The different levels bring different demons. And they come in.
Were you surprised to hear him say that he thought about quitting boxing?
No, I thought about that shit too. I mean, they stole $1 million right from under us. They spiked my son right in our room. Because he only got room service. He never left the room.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. I only ordered room service.
And it's only 2 people that came in our room. So it's like they was able to touch in Florida and there. It's like, yo, this boxing is bigger than you think. And as a young fighter, you know, you just gotta know certain levels. And at the end of the day, you're still a slave in master house. You're still gonna get whipped if you go a certain way. And that's the truth as a brother. So you gotta know your role you gotta play. And that's a breadcrumb for anybody coming up. Know your role. You can make money, but know your role. When you get too big, they try to punish you. And we ain't the only boxers they did that to. It ain't like we don't got the talent. Just know it ain't your time yet. Sit still.
You're back now, and you want Shakur, but you've got to go through
Tevin.
Tevin Farmer first. What did you think when this matchup was brought to both of you, and why do you believe you're going to win it?
Well, when it was brought to me, I was excited, you know, because I'm like, okay, finally, I get an opponent like Tevin Farmer. You know, he had 2 close fights. Well, I don't say 1 close fight, was a Peta, and I watched the Mortaya fight last night. I would have gave it a draw, me personally, because it was just back and forth, and Tevin got tired towards the end. But I'm excited to be coming back fighting Tevin, and I feel like I'm not getting enough credit because, like I said, I haven't been fighting guys, you know, on Tevin's level. We gotta give it to Tevin. He's a skillful fighter, great fighter. You know, he has experience, and I'm coming off, you know, guys like Renee and, you know, my past opponents, but I haven't fought since November, and I haven't fought nobody of that caliber. So I'm coming back I'm supposed to be having a tune-up fight, and I'm taking that against Tevin Farmer. So, you know, I feel like it's gonna be a great night Saturday. It's gonna be a great night Saturday.
Yeah, a young mind see it that way. I think like that's some bullshit. Y'all, this is our first fight off the bench. Y'all gonna give us a 2-time world champion.
And you just said earlier in the day, you said you're Tevin's biggest fan.
And if we turn it down,
if
we turn it down, the contract extends, and we're in our contract. So you're gonna either take the fight. You know, it's different things in business. It's business. Business is business. But to me, at first, it was like it's bullshit.
Yeah, I told him it didn't matter.
We gonna fight a world champion. Who else fight a world champion straight off the bench off a leg and never fought a champion before? To me, it's like, oh, it's a setup. So it's like, all right, let's step up, son. Let's do this. This is our moment to show the world we great. So that's, to me, it's like God prepared a table for us around the people that think they set up some bullshit. So when we stop this guy, then now he's on top of the world. Now he's in line. So
I
that's
feel like
what
he's
we gotta prove.
underestimating me.
Yeah, he is.
I feel like he's really underestimating me. And I mean, it's cool, you know, with the level of experience he got, you know, when he was having his first fight, I was probably, 2000, I was young, 2011. So I feel like he's underestimating me, and I feel like that's gonna be his biggest mistake.
He don't know the fire we came through to get here.
He don't know the power of, like, I gave my son a promise. My dad knew before I left, I couldn't get that green belt from coming back with this continental belt. And never underestimate the power of love, you know.
Well, guys, good to have you back. Floyd, great to have you back in the mix
Thank you.
once again. Gonna be a great fight on Saturday, man. Thanks for
Yes,
joining
sir.
me.
Appreciate it.